All right, everyone, good afternoon, or should that be guten afternoon? Yes, you may have guessed I'm in Germany. You may also have guessed that this isn't the Allianz Arena. Very long and boring story that you don't want to hear about. To do with me drinking a few beers yesterday, waking up, not particularly feeling a 20-minute trip there, 20-minute trip back. I think I would have made, it would have cost more money on Uber than I make from this video. So I'm doing it from the hotel room instead. Just imagine that that's the Allianz Arena there behind those trees. Very green water as well. Celtic water, some may say. Right, let's do this. Okay, I am in Germany, of course, because Euro 24 starts here tomorrow in Munich. There are plenty of Scotland fans around the place, come across many of them. But I'd say things certainly in this part of Munich, at this hotel, are pretty calm. Very quiet. I'm kind of waiting for things to take off, I think, tomorrow. Don't worry, I'm not going to talk about Scotland on this video. As much as I'm here in Germany to support Scotland, I'm well aware that the fan base really cares about Celtic. So it is just going to be a normal roundup we're doing today. I think I'll answer a couple of your Q&A questions at the end as well. The first thing I want to speak about is Hyun-Yu Oh. Now, obviously, out of favour at Celtic. We didn't see him basically at all once Adam Idah signed for the club back in January. I think his last appearance was in that 1-1 draw at home to Kilmarnock in February. That's how long it is since we actually saw Hyun-Yu Oh play. He wasn't even making squads at the end of the season, and there's been a bit of chat about what's going to happen with him. I mean, there's clearly... he doesn't have great prospects of game time next season with Kyogo there, and if we do sign Adam Idah, it seems very much like he could be heading away this summer. Now, a report from Het Nieuwsblad in Belgium saying that Genk have made a bid for O. Now, there's not a great deal else being reported. It's not even clear whether it would be a loan move, a permanent move. It doesn't feel very much to me like a development loan, even if it was a loan to Genk. It feels like it's kind of the end probably for O at Celtic, which is disappointing because I think he's a talent, but I also understand that he's probably not as effective as Adam Idah, and certainly not as effective as Kyogo Furuhashi. So if he heads off, that's fine. We'll keep an eye on it. He signed a 5-year deal when he joined the club 18 months ago, so he's got 3.5 years to run. So if we can recoup a little bit of the money we spent on him, I think you shake hands with O, wish him all the best, and move on. So as I say, Genk in for O. So that's one to keep an eye on. Interesting one here that Celtic have lodged an application with Glasgow City Council for a second standing section at Celtic Park. We know this from the Glasgow City Council website, and it shows the club applying to turn 455 existing seats into safe standing rail seating in the southwest corner of the stadium. Now, you can also see the application was lodged on February the 13th, but a decision is yet to be made. We've obviously already got a standing section we have had for the best part of a decade now. I think it came in this summer when Brendan Rodgers first came to the club in 2016. It's been a huge success. You know, I know some people have different thoughts on ultras and stuff like that, and it's fine. I'm not getting into all that. I think everyone could say that the atmosphere has been improved at Celtic Park for your average match since the standing section came in. There's obviously been talk about potentially expanding the standing section, even having a Celtic end. That seems to have gone quiet. Don't think the club are big fans of that at this stage. However, they are seemingly keen to get a second standing section for the boys group in the southwest corner of the stadium. That's where they're situated at the moment, but having them in rail seating rather than seats would be good, and I guess it would kind of boost the atmosphere a bit further. I think when people are actually standing and they're able to be joined by more people, that would be good. The current standing section that we've got is 3,000 odd, I think, so this would be less than a sixth the size of that, so it's not going to be quite as spectacular. But I think it's good news in terms of keeping the atmosphere as strong as possible at Celtic Park. The other thing I just wanted to touch on, this will be a short video, by the way, I hope you don't mind. Jeremy Frimpong, because he's kind of come up in reports again. There's so much speculation about him because he's been doing so well in a really successful Bayer Leverkusen team. Liverpool, I think, are the latest team who have really been linked with him. And there was a report from the Liverpool Echo, which kind of went into that and also a bit more on Frimpong's situation and the potential cut that Celtic could be looking at if he does move on this summer. Because I think it's fair to say, we all know that Celtic have some sort of a cut with Frimpong's next move, but we maybe don't necessarily know exactly what that is. So I just wanted to touch on this because it could be worth, and will be worth, a fair bit of money to the club. So yeah, apparently he's got a £35 million release clause currently, Frimpong, which again is something I didn't know. I think that's only got a short period of time before that expires. The Echo report that Celtic are due to receive 30% of any profit made on Jeremy Frimpong. Now, we sold him, I believe, for around about £9 million. Might have been slightly more. Let's just call it £9 million. So say he was sold for £35 million, that would be, and wait for this, so 35 minus 9 is 26, that's the difference. And yeah, 26 divided by 100 times 30, it's just 30% of 26 is 7.8 million. So potentially looking at some sort of fee like that. It's a sizable amount of money that can just be added to Brendan Rodgers' war chest. Right. I kind of thought that video would be a little bit longer, but we're barely even close to 10 minutes at the moment. So I'm going to just go through a few of your questions. I'm literally just on the app at the moment looking at what you've said. I've not had a chance to think about these, so they'll be completely off the cuff. Right, Tom Flanagan, 2 questions. 1, are you wearing the hoops in Germany? Well, no. And 2, in fact, I've not even got the hoops here at all. I'm only supporting Scotland out here. 2, what's the deal with Stevie and not liking Glasgow, or is it a joke you both have? Stevie not liking Glasgow. I don't know. I don't want to speak for Stevie, but I would say it's kind of genuine when he says he's not a huge fan. Maybe not. He's not a huge fan necessarily with Scotland. I think the weather's a big thing for Stevie. I think some of it's patter with Stevie. He enjoys a wee moan. We know that. That's why we all love him. But he's positive about parts of Scotland. He loves Celtic. I think that's the thing he would really miss if he ever moved away. Certainly something that I've missed, going to games with Stevie as well. So, yes, that's Stevie. Matty Mull 8383. Hi Hamish, what's your thoughts on Celtic Park? Could you see any refurbishments taking place in the future, or even an expansion? Funny that's come up when what was that, 1 day ago? That would have been before the kind of stuff we just spoke about the second standing section. Matty Mull. Yeah, I mean, they always talk about building the main stand. I think there's real complications with that. I think it's a listed building. We don't even fill Celtic Park for the majority of games. I know you get sellouts, but there's a lot of empty seats still at league games with season ticket holders not going along to matches. I guess at the moment there's real demand for Celtic. I personally think you won't ever see the stadium expanded until we're playing in a more competitive league, or maybe the Champions League takes up a bigger part of our season. We're up to 8 games next season. I think if that kind of went 10, 12, maybe even 14 games in years to come, and you'd be getting that extra revenue, because obviously we'd sell out an 80,000 seater stadium for every Champions League game. I think that's when you could see something like that happening. I guess for now it doesn't really make sense. I mean, how many teams playing in a league the size of Scotland even have a stadium the size of Celtic Park, 60,000? I can't think of many. Certainly like Austria, Switzerland, Czech Republic, there's no teams with stadiums like that. So we've got a huge stadium as it is. But I think fans always just want, because it's the main stand's like much smaller than the other 3, I think you always want that built up. I kind of like the look of Celtic Park at the moment. Refurbishments, I'm not really sure. There's always chat about I think generally the experience at Celtic Park isn't brilliant, but I don't think that's just a Celtic thing. I think that's Scottish football. I think here in Germany, if I was going to the games, you'd find a much better experience just in general in football in this country than Scotland. I'll do one more. Aidan O'Brien, 67. Why do you think football fans nowadays tend to prefer YouTuber content than traditional media, example, newspaper, Sky Sports News? I should probably ask you guys. I mean, for me personally, I'm watching a lot of, like, my favourite things on YouTube right now, football-wise, are Open Goal and The Overlap, and they're both kind of similar. And I know that's very different to what I do. These guys on these shows have played the game. But I think you just enjoy seeing people chat about football. And it feels like, I don't know, it just feels like the pressure's off a little bit. I think clearly people really enjoy watching things and listening to things these days rather than reading. I guess in the Sky Sports News point, that's probably kind of past its sell-by date. Sky Sports, like, you just kind of feel like it's past its heyday, and I don't think you're ever going to get back to that because people kind of consume their news differently now. But I think you like to, in terms of the Celtic stuff I watch and listen to the podcast, you just like to hear fans when they've not really got any ulterior motive, maybe like some other people reporting on the club would have. I think it's just fans talking about the club, and hopefully I do something like that. I never take it for granted, kind of having 10,000 people watching a channel like this, each video, and I've only been going a few months. Like, it's crazy, the numbers. But I don't know, you tell me, like, and I'm not just talking about me, but generally YouTube stuff, why is it so big these days? I guess it's just fans, as I say, and it's just enjoyable sitting and watching rather than, having to read stuff. I think there's still a place for everyone in that, though. Right, I think I've padded that out slightly so you get a slightly longer video, answered a few of your questions. I'm going to go and edit this, stick it up, and I think we're going to do a video on Tuesday when I'll be in Stuttgart. Really hope Scotland get a result tomorrow. Can't say I'm particularly confident of that. Have a weird feeling, though, and let this stick with you. Scotland might score the first goal of the tournament. I know that's not a ridiculous shout given that we're in the first match, but I just have a feeling we might go 1-0 up against Germany and then probably lose 3-1, something like that. Enjoy the game, wherever you're watching. And yeah, speak to you next week, everyone. Cheers.